Hello, everyone. Ross here at Teacher Talker. I hope you're well. In a world of artificial intelligence, how do you know what to use, what to trust, how best to use your efforts in your classroom or outside your classroom? I've got something exciting to show you called TILF, and you'll know that I'm a big fan of feedback. So I'm just going to give you a little demonstration with Kelly, who's created the company, show you what it can do, and ask some questions. And what you can do if you're watching, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, is if you're logged in, you can pose a question on your side and we can answer these questions to you. And as ever, I'm going to give you a referral code so you can log in, play with a demo, and give it a try yourself. So I'm going to bring Kelly in. Where are you, Kelly? Kelly, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Ross. Kelly
Hi,
here.
Kelly. Yeah, nice to see you. Could you introduce everybody, or introduce yourself to everybody, I should say, and maybe give us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm the founder of TILF. We are a team of former teachers and AI engineers working to support teachers with their marking workload so that they have time back for teaching. So I'm building TILF because I'm the first of my family to graduate from university, and I really want to democratize access to quality education for everyone, regardless of their background. So my specific background and expertise is in tech. I've been working in tech companies for the past 10 years, specifically in companies like Spotify, where I launched a lot of AI products, some of which have been patented now. Yeah.
And why TILF? What was the inspiration behind creating this particular product?
Yeah, so my mother is illiterate and she's not had the opportunity to attend school. So I've had firsthand experience in witnessing the challenges that people who lack access to quality education face. And it's very important to me to enable students and teachers to get the best learning tools. So TILF specifically is an AI evaluation platform to support teachers with their marking. And so it came to life after we conducted research with teachers and students that highlighting, unsurprisingly, that the teacher is the most impactful element in student learning outcome. And when we talked to teachers about their challenges, they all said the same thing. The admin and the marking workload drains their entire time and energy. And that is time that they could be spending with giving more personalized attention to their students. So we decided to use technology to support them with that.
So can I start off with the first kind of question before we'll show everyone a demonstration? What does TILF stand for? Does it stand for anything in particular?
Yes, the Independent Learning Foundation, that is a reflection of our mission. We really want to make sure that students can independently learn and access quality education, like I mentioned, regardless of where they come from, and access a teacher that has the time and energy to connect with them and that has the tool to support them in their teaching journey.
Okay, great. So I'm thinking from several perspectives. Obviously, as a teacher myself, thinking about the admin headache that you talked about, the marking burden. Oh my God, it's constant for teachers. You've also got maybe the tutor aspects, the parental perhaps needs, or the parents that might have their children with a tutor, or you've got the students themselves, whether they're in high school or right through up to university. So we can maybe talk about these different perspectives. Before I get you to come on to a demonstration screen, Kelly, 3 key messages for everybody. I guess we're just going to spend 15-20 minutes just going through this resource with you, is how it can reduce your marking time, how it might help your students perform better in exams, and how it might synchronize with your current kind of work processes back at school in terms of workflows, making life a little bit easier. And I'm sure many people have lots of different AI tools in their personal lives too. So we'll just see how this might fit into your skill, but also your personal circumstances too, whether you're a teacher, parent, tutor, or a student. So, Kelly, I guess the first question, can we have a look at TILF first? I think you might need to reshare your screen on this fancy bit of software here that we've got. Just reminder everyone watching, could you ping some questions into the comments box where you're watching, and I'll ask those questions on your behalf to Kelly. So, Kelly, tell us what we can see here.
All right, so yeah, this is the main screen I'm demoing now. That is where teachers and students are able to either copy paste their essay or take a photo, upload a photo, and we will transcribe the handwritten essay directly into the platform. And then from there, they will be able to get the feedback and the mark instantly. So I'm going right now to copy paste an essay that I've prepared specifically for this demo. So I'm copy pasting it from a Word doc and pasting it here. So you can see it's a Shakespeare essay.
Okay,
so what
nice.
I'm going to do is I will click review my work. And as I do this, the platform is prompting me to select the mark scheme. So here I'm entering the question. It's about Macbeth. And this was for GCSE literature. I'm going to select AQA, but you can see that we have a lot of different examples.
Kelly, I'm going to stop you there. Can you go back through these drop-down fields, and could I just give people watching a small opportunity just to see the options here? So currently, we tell us the three options we've got here.
Yes, so we have A-level and GCSE. NM is because we are actually also based in Brazil, so it's a Brazilian one. But A-level and GCSE is for the UK.
And the next option down, the subjects. So what do we have?
Subject. We have pretty much every humanity, every word language, every possible, even social sciences, a possible subject that have usually essays. So you can see Africans here, for example, is because one of our school is based in South Africa and they requested it.
Great. Okay, and then the next, so English lit there, exam board. So what do we have here?
So we have all the main exam boards, mostly AQA, Educas, and Excel. In some of the subjects, we also have international GCSE. So like CIE will have more international GCSE for school-based worldwide. And in some subjects, we also have IB that we're starting to add. So very broad coverage.
Okay, so let's select AQA, and then the marking scheme, what do we have here?
So this will be the main mark scheme for literature AQA. So now the specific essay I entered was for Shakespeare, so I was going to select Shakespeare.
Okay, 30 marks, A04. Okay, so what happens next?
So next, I will click review my work, and that is when the platform is going to start giving me feedback for every single paragraph. So it's a lot of like details about what was done well according to the mark scheme and what could be improved for every paragraph. After this, we have the generic what went well with the strengths of the essay, and then you can see the things to improve and the overall feedback. After that, we can start to see the mark. So that specific essay got a 24, which is a level 5 out of 6 and a grade 8 out of 9. You can see then the AO breakdown with some specific explanation on why that specific mark was given, and the AO4 for SPAG in that example.
Okay. So I've got lots of things going through my head, and I'm sure lots of people watching this would have too. So obviously, as a teacher with that level of knowledge and expertise, you can translate the responses here and work out if you can trust it, what to do next, those kind of things. Could you give me some examples where a student might use this and how the prompts on the right can guide them what to do next if they wanted to go back and tweak their assignment?
Yes, so a lot of the students, so what they will do is, again, like check the feedback, try and understand what they have to change. And in a lot of cases, they actually ask to have specific example on how to implement the feedback. So they will tell us like, oh, you told me to do this, but I don't understand how to do it. So what we have started to add now is the ability to show example. So if I click that button, what will happen is the system is going to quote my original essay and then give me an example of how I could have written it in a way that aligns with the mark scheme and that implements the feedback that it has given me. And then you can read the reasoning on why this is a better answer. Cool. So we have a lot of students actually who loves that specific feature, but teachers too. So the way teachers use it is to create resources. So they will take a few examples and use it as a resources for their own students.
Got you. Now, I've also got ethics and plagiarism and all that kind of, concern going through my head. So I'm assuming the advice you'd give is obviously people would use this to guide them and rewrite it in their own words and reference AI where applicable and those kind of things. What kind of messages are you seeing? What are you recommending? The ethics, exams, all those kind of headaches. I'm clutching at straws here with lots of different questions, but what are the kind of messages you hear from users and what would you recommend?
Yeah, this is a great point. So I hear that actually a lot of AI platforms are used for plagiarism because students will simply ask, write my essay for me. Sometimes they might go to ChatGPT, add the question and get ChatGPT to write the essay, and then they go to another app to rewrite it in a human way. So this platform, TILF, is very different in the sense that what we give is mostly feedback on how to improve. So we don't, it's not a shortcut to write an essay. It's a platform where you get here to learn what in the mark scheme are the things that you are not meeting yet. What are the criteria that you have not demonstrated in your essay and how to apply them.
Sure.
So a lot of students, so I think a lot of our students are actually very motivated students.
So I guess what the essay you have here in the middle of the screen is something I've written organically outside of AI. It is a positive in some respects, and the tool here is just giving you that feedback critique that we need.
Yes, exactly. And I have to say, though, I do think if a student wants to get ChatGPT to write the essay for them and then put it in the platform and get feedback, they can do this. Like we're not gonna know about that. But I think students that comes here for the feedback, they're not looking for a shortcut. If they want a shortcut, they're not even gonna bother to, like read the feedback. Like this is extremely long. They would have to read it, understand it, check the mark scheme. So I really think that our students are more like, they care a lot more about their grades. And yeah, actually.
Okay. Now, people watching, I can see a lot of you are. If you have any questions, can you put them into your comments box? So Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube users. And I'll pose your question on the screen if you're happy to. And I'll ask Kelly to give us her best reply. Kelly, I've got another question for you here. In terms of, going back to the ethics question, how do we know this is accurate or fair in particular?
This is a very good point. So I think as a teacher, obviously, they have the experience, the expertise to gauge the accuracy of the feedback and the grade. I think for students, it's a little bit more complicated. So we have a few students that tell us they actually get complementary support from their teachers. So they will get the feedback, rework it, and then share it with their teacher and get like additional feedback on that. And yeah, I think then after this, what they can do is look at the different model answers that they have provided by the school and online and compare. But ultimately, they will have to rely on the tool and the support of their teacher or tutor.
Now, is there anything else you can show us? I'm just thinking of those options you've got on the left-hand menu, the AI tutor button on the top right-hand side.
Yes. So what we have here, so after I have uploaded my work, I'm going to be able to retrieve it from the library where I can see all the past work. I can share it. I can download it. And then for teachers specifically, we have the ability to mark batch of evaluation. So if I have 200 students passing their mock exam and I need to mark all of this within a week, we have a feature that enables them to upload everything as a batch.
This sounds incredible. So can we see this? Because
yes,
the headache of marking thousands of papers is very real for many teachers. So we've got a demonstration to show here.
Yes, I have prepared actually a demo. So let me share another screen and we can look at it.
Okay, so you might have to stop that screen sharing and re-upload it. So everyone, while Kelly's getting organized, questions in the chat box, please. I'm going to give you a hyperlink to visit and a referral code, and we'll talk about pricing and how this might be used in your personal circumstances or across your school. Right, so Kelly, we've got a little video here to play. So let's we'll disappear behind the scenes.
Okay.
And we'll play this couple of minutes video. Okay.
I'm going to show you how to get hundreds of essays marked quickly with the TILF batch feature. First, you need to head on evaluation batches on the left side. From there, you can create a batch. this batch is going to be where all your student essays are. For that example, I'm going to choose literature, AQA, Shakespeare. I'm now going to create my batch and start adding my student essays. I have purposefully saved student essays onto my computer that are specifically hand-marked. So let's look at this. So here I have Laura essay. I'm going to click upload. From there, I will be able to drag and drop any amount of essays that I want. The files can be in JPEG, PNG, screenshot, any file format you might need. And you can add hundreds of essays into that page. What is happening now is the system on the background is transcribing the handwritten work one by one. So you can see the status for it. You can see now that Laura's work has been transcribed, and now the system is transcribing Chloe's work. Once this is done, all the student essays are going to be listed on the batch page, as you can see now, with the status pending. You will then see them being marked later on. So if I look at the batch that I created with hundreds of essays as an example, you can see from here, all the essays have been uploaded, and I can see the status being completed, and I can then view the essays. From here, you can find the question, the answer, and the mark alongside with the feedback. You can also edit the feedback to match it with your tone and add anything you might want to add. Once the changes are being saved, I am now able to download the feedback from TILF as a PDF, and I can also share a specific link to my students. For teachers who do want it, we now started to create student reports where we show the common misconception, the common learning gaps, and some suggested action that teachers can cover in their next lesson planning based on the marking from that specific batch.
So we're back. Right. So we had a comment there from one viewer saying, oh, wow. Let's get your screen back up. In fact, what I'll do is I will just share my landing page screen, unless you got any other particular demos to share.
I think we covered most of it.
Okay, so there's the landing page. Now, I had this same reaction here, oh, wow, when I was watching that demonstration. If I think about 25 years of teaching, all those pinch points where I had to mark 30, 60, 90, 200 papers, and those headaches, and doing it all manually. I think what you've just shown is phenomenal, the batch marking feature. And to add an actual photograph and for it to analyze that is phenomenal. Can we trust the photograph in terms of reliability? Is it that sophisticated?
Yeah, so actually we are very good at transcribing the handwritten work. So we've been told by teachers that the system can decipher very messy handwriting. So like OCR, which is the technology we're using to recognize the handwriting, are nowadays very, very strong. So it does a good job there.
Right, fantastic. Now, I've got a link for everyone to watch. The big question that everyone is probably burning to ask is, let me just put, first of all, my website address here. So you can sign up here. So Kelly, let's go through number of schools and teachers using your platform already, and then we'll talk about what it costs. So you're a relatively new startup, aren't you?
Yes, so we launched in April of last year, so like very, very new. And yeah, it's very new.
Okay.
We are growing our students and teachers. So at the moment, we have hundreds of teachers using the platform and dozens of schools trialing it. And then more like thousands of students. So it's been quite easier for some reason to reach out to the student audience. But we are growing the teacher and the school like every day.
So you mentioned the users in South Africa. What other parts of the world are people signing up? Obviously in England. Where else?
Yeah, so we have users a bit everywhere. So obviously, as you said, like I would say 95%, if not more, is still UK based. But we have some users, like one school now in South Africa. We have some users in India, in the US. And those users are usually international schools covering the IGCSE, you know, the international GCSE,
Yes.
AS levels. And as I mentioned, now we are adding IB, so we start to have a lot more schools. We have some schools as well in UAE.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're starting to spread globally.
Okay, nice. Now, the big question is, how much does it cost? So when people go to the TILF website, if they use the address that they can see on the bottom of the screen with the reference to Teacher Toolkit, clicking on this register page, what are people choosing here? They're obviously choosing if they're a teacher or a student, and then following that process. Can I actually, can you give us some ballpark figures? How does it work?
Yes, so in terms of pricing, actually the best is if you can go back one step and scroll down so that we can look at it while I describe it. So we have, obviously it's a subscription-based model. The most relevant for teachers is the premium plan, so like the £18 a month. It offers 200 evaluations per month, which usually covers their student. And then teachers are able to add top-up evaluation where they can buy bulk of evaluations to cover for fluctuating needs, you know, like during mock exams. So usually it's going to be like November, February, June, we see a lot more usage. And then we also have the plan for schools where a lot more adapted to schools, even though we have teachers using it, which is the Pro plan for 45 a month, where you can then have 750 evaluations per month. And this one allows schools to also get free complementary accounts for their own students. So they will pay for the teachers' marking, but they get complementary accounts for the students so that they can drive the grades of their student performance during exam up. And that has been very, very successful actually with schools.
So I'm looking there at your basic plan, 80 evaluations if I wanted to use it for just 1 month. And for £10, or if my maths is correct, that's pretty good value for money, isn't it? For one assignment to speed up your working life. So any last comments, Kelly? Just to remind the audience, any questions to myself through any of the social media channels. Kelly, I will share your contact details in the video link. I'll put them in the YouTube links and things like that. But is there anything else, Kelly, that you have not mentioned that you want to just signpost before we go?
I think we covered everything. On our side, we are very excited to start making an impact in teachers' life and support teachers as much as we can. So yeah, I'm very excited to enhance TILF further and see it growing.
Great. So thanks for your time. Thanks for creating a great product. It's nice to hear an AI tool come from a genuine need and already is doing some great work to solve the marking burden. So Kelly, I'll leave it there. I'll talk to you offline, but thank you for your time and thank you for sharing what you have. So there you go, everyone. Very short demo. There's lots more that we could do, but I think a little teaser to whet your appetite. With TILF, a great tool for your marking headaches and to align your feedback with lots of different examination specifications. There's the link at the bottom of the video. Sign up, take a little look, try and get your little demo started as soon as possible. And I hope you find it useful. Other than that, that's all from me. I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye for now.